'Cause sometimes I look in her eyes, and that's where I find a glimpse of us.
Ta-da! Here we are.
Hey guys, welcome.
I'm gonna have to have my second drink.
Good evening to all of you
Drinking with Dennis. It's drinking with Dennis. And start the show.
So it's Monday, and
It is?
the show. I have not listened live for a long time, and that was wow. I don't even have words. Dennis, how did you feel about it? You were listening live.
I zoned out several times. I actually did real work, which is kind of sad. The This Is Your Death wikis were particularly bad.
Oh yeah.
They
Lord.
were bad. The stretching the show to 10:30, which is really predictable now, was also pretty bad. And Ralph calling in twice was pretty bad also.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
this was a typical day. Yeah, it's good.
So that's Dennis, and we've got John and Xavier here. Say hello, gentlemen. Oh, and I like this picture here that John has. Let's have a look at. That's beautiful. Because you like Pat a lot.
I do.
Yeah,
I think he embodied the scatological kamikaze, let it fly, honest version of what the show. Everything about the show we used to love. I think he's the very paradigm of that. Out on the road today.
So,
Go ahead.
Radio Gunk, can you please address Wilding kissing JD?
No.
Oh no.
Does it surprise you, Katie? Does it surprise you?
Completely staged.
At this point,
disaster to.
At this point, JD knows
content.
He is unemployable anywhere else.
Yeah.
And he pretty much has them by the you-know-what. So it's kind of like
No.
No,
Go ahead. JD's employable. He can definitely work at Arby's. I mean, come on,
bro. Would you want him giving you one of those roast
Arby's.
sandwiches?
I say that all the time. That's the last guy I want serving me food. It's an insult to all
Taco Bell
I will
employees.
eat the $20 and walk away rather than having to put my mouth on anything he touches.
I think it's far more noble. It takes far more skill to work in any area of fast food or the service industry than this show. It's not even close.
Bad groceries.
It isn't.
No.
It isn't at all.
No,
so it's like
he's unemployable. You're right. He can't have. He can't have a job.
He is so beholden. Beholden.
You used to pronounce it like Beth in Pittsburgh. No else.
Beholden.
I never said I was a Rhodes Scholar, bro.
No, it's cute.
To Howard at this point, he knows it. So he'll do whatever Howard asks him to do at this point. How can he not?
So I've been corrected in the chat by Mr. D. My dad owned Arby's. Really? Seriously? Never would have hired him. Yeah, we figured that. I mean, he's not good enough to clean bathrooms. I mean, seriously, he's just not.
He is the jizzy mopper at a booth. That's that is pretty much his watermark as far as
wow. That's a sight.
The only thing I did listen to the Pat Cooper eulogy today, and just speaking of JD, his purpose on the show, he sussed out some horrible heavy metal clip where the lead singer did like a monologue. And when is the last time he's been called upon to bring a moment to the show that he's recorded? Like we know what his job is supposed to be, but how often, you being listening to it every day, how often is he called upon to bring clips like that?
Maybe
that doesn't happen anymore, right?
Really, seriously.
About as much as Fred plays a sound drop,
he
right?
doesn't do anything.
The thing is, what was on the other night? The Emmy? What was on Sunday night? Some award show.
The Tonys.
The Tonys. Definitely something I wouldn't follow.
I DVR'd it.
Now, but he didn't. He doesn't have any clips for that yet. It's like that happened last night. They didn't talk about the Tonys. They talked nothing about the Tonys.
Cold Chinese food, Dennis. Cold Chinese food.
So he's going to have it tomorrow. And that's JD's job right there. I guess a couple of the award shows is when JD actually gets a little bit of work, I guess. Yeah.
It's
But we talk about this all the time. Is his job is to Google Howard on some capacity. And so when he Googles him, all you get are sterncoats and people like us eviscerating him all day and night. And any talk about him is negative. So he can't play anything.
But even bigger, I think that, I don't know he may be one of the people they have that listens to this and goes to our website, because they immediately today touched all the points we were talking about last week. All of them. I mean, it was almost like they listened and knew exactly what to do from listening to us.
Honestly, Dennis, if I worked on that show, that's what I would do. I just plagiarize us the whole time, and he's never going to bring it up.
Keep in mind that now Reddit is down for a couple of days. So we're pretty much ground zero at this point.
What was that Reddit shut down? What was that? It's some kind
of... over a month ago, Reddit decided, I guess apparently a lot of people source for Reddit is not a URL link on a browser, but one of these kind of like apps, kind of like a podcast type of scenario. There's third party, and they can just access all the Reddit content, in a more digestible manner. But Reddit decided they're going to start charging X amount for those third party apps to access their information
that they force on you all the time. That you can't. Right.
One of the third parties said that it would essentially be a couple $1 million a year.
Holy crap!
And there's just no viable way these third party apps can stay, in business and do this. So they're almost unilaterally all shutting down at the end of the month.
Jesus.
And so
when I went on today, the Stern Show was the only one you couldn't get on. Every other thing every other subcategory I applied to was fine except that one.
I believe the way it works, and I could be wrong. Someone
Howard
correct
wants
me,
a cut.
is any content generated today and the next couple of days won't be available to general people.
Oh, fuck them. Let's just cut them off. Cut them off like everybody else. There's plenty of other places to go. Cut them off. I don't give a shit.
The weird thing is like, here there's thousands of subreddits, and they're all run by volunteers essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. The moderators.
It's not like, and the CEO said, well, we're not profitable. We're not profitable. It's like, go public then, bro.
I think they're supposed to be. The thing is, Reddit has an understanding of their audience, like Disney has an understanding of their audience. They really, they truly don't get it. They really don't. It's amazing.
One of the dudes that started Reddit, he married Serena Williams or one of the other Williams sisters and just quit. He just took it and ran.
Jesus Christ.
In fact, they just had a kid recently. So
it'd be nice if Bon Jovi was like participating in this somehow.
He is.
Nick Mold, to answer your question, I do have exactly that Opie and Anthony Pat Cooper exchange. I think I got the best of it. He's been on so many times at Post Howard that I do believe I got the red meat from it, as well as a great Chauncey interview.
And you know what?
Douchebag. I am
RadioGunk has
participating.
always been
I'm waiting for you to stop.
Well, you have the clips and stuff. You can tell us that you have stuff you want to start going.
I'm trying not to be rude and go, what on earth?
Well, Monique's always rude, so...
Monique is always rude
say,
to us, so don't be afraid.
Bon Jovi needs to
Let's start with the start of the show.
Let's do it.
Well, okay, so...
You're on mute.
I know, I was just setting some stuff up.
Wait, Bon, wait, before you do.
Okay.
You listened to the show from beginning to end today. What were your personal observations about the general, just the experience of listening to a whole show? Nothing specific, but what was
I love it. I appreciate it. This is a good question. I'll give you my the way it was is that before I could listen live, I used to have to wait a couple of days to get the MP3. So it was kind of, I know it sounds stupid, this is like back in 2017, 2016. It was kind of fun because it was, I wasn't supposed to have it. I couldn't get it here in Australia. Right. But now, listening to it live is like, it's like being trapped.
Yeah.
Like JD starts talking and I can't get, I know it's going to be 10, 15 minutes. That's the feeling, trapped. And the ads are really bad. The really bad live. Wow. You just wonder, God, do they need the money so much that they have to crowbar this in? Is it? And
I mean,
guys
you
all
probably
paying.
say to yourself, what gets this guy? He's obviously going to be 70 on January 12th, and it's like, what does he need? It's just completely. This just isn't work. So he's like, well, why does he need to work? Because this isn't work. This show is whatever he wants it to be. When you can roll it out and it's 9 hours a week, there's nothing about this that constitutes heavy lift. He doesn't have to learn anything. He doesn't have to get facts right. He doesn't have to get news right. It's cold Chinese food. Everything is. Go ahead, X. Go ahead.
And he doesn't. He no longer has the excuse that he had to stay like in his lazy, cozy, multi-billion-dollar mansions. I mean,
You have no ratings. Everything's insulated. You have a bunch of acolytes around you throwing out these embellished, awful compliments.
Nice. That was nice. That was good.
Bon, the other thing about the show, what do you think about the way he does transitions between subjects?
That's a great question.
Yeah, you haven't heard that in a while.
There's no interest. He just goes anyway. That's what you're
right.
getting
Right.
at.
A dispassionate segue. That's great. Yes.
And now I've got something.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No,
he is
go on.
almost like an old dude that lost his train of thought. Is how the show's run.
Yeah, I mean,
He almost forgets
you
he was
used to be
talking about
able
one
to
thing, and
hear.
then like it just one thing just kind of
I
meanders
don't
into
even
the
think.
other.
Used to hear him slide the paper years ago. Before
Yeah.
He'd slide. You could hear go, and he'd go anyway. Now you don't hear the paper. It must be on his screen or something. But not cool, not professional. But and the ending to the show today was just like, all right. So, and then he started an ad. An ad played. He didn't even say goodbye today.
95% of the time, that's the way the show ends. It literally is.
It's just,
okay, we've done enough show. And go, hey, Zip Recruiter, Zip Recruiter.
That's exactly what he did today.
Do you guys remember?
So unprofessional. So unprofessional.
Do you guys remember we used to record things on a cassette tape, and then you forget how much time you have left, and it would just stop. So you go listen to the what do you call it, the recording, and you would like be recording like a Queen song. It'd be another one bite. It would just,
exactly.
So you would get like that 30-second gap of just nothingness. That other tape that physically.
Oh, when it winds off to there's no I know the plastic. I love it. That's why
like
John got the VHS out of the. John hooked up your VHS, didn't you?
Yeah. Somebody taught me that on the Sternfan
Network.
Network.
Get 6 hours. Yeah.
I was taught that on the Sternfan Network from someone to run an audio wire into your VHS VCR and then run it into the radio, and you could record the entire show. It's the only way you could do it.
Jeremy Harrelson has a great question down there. Do you think he has a timer? And when it goes off, does he one more commercial and then he's out? Sort of, kinda. He now has to do
track of time and just tells him.
He has to do 3.5 hours a day. It looks like now to fulfill his contract. So he has to do 3.5 hours of show to fulfill a contract.
Yeah, he probably has a Jason Kaplan type, keeping track of the barest minimum of his contract.
He has someone whose job it is to say, "Hey, you got 10 minutes. You have 30
Exactly.
minutes."
Oh no, there's timers on the screen. Like he ends these segments. They're all 10, 15 minutes. They all end. I think he sets up like a timer on the screen. It's counting down, and he's like, "Oh, tell me more, Ronnie." And then he goes, "I got 2 minutes left," and then it's awful. But what was great? I'll just finish off what you were saying about when I was getting the MP3 and not listening live was that I didn't know people like Brent that much because I hated it so much that I would just skip 30 minutes. So for the first year or so Brent was on, I was like, oh yeah, he's this Texas guy comes in, but I'd always fast forward and I didn't even realize, like I saw people on Facebook were complaining, like going, oh, get him off. And I was like, oh, I just skipped through it, I don't know. But to have to listen to these things is pure hell. It's just,
yes, it is. Yes,
it's depressing. It's so, and when Marianne calls in and you're stuck and Ralph calls in and anyone who comes on like Hein or someone, you know, you're set for whatever, 15, 20 minutes and you just can't get out of it. So unless you're driving or cleaning your toilet or your house, that's how I could bear it. You need a distraction.
One last bow on the thing. On this Wednesday, when he has a guest on, you'll see from 8:30 to before the guest comes in, like 8:50, there will be Eastern time. There will be a segment that will fill that amount of time. There will be one little subject that is perfectly packaged to fill that 20 minutes. It will be completely not related to anything else he's going to do all day, but it'll come out that time. Guaranteed. Always
Let's
happens.
talk about Ronnie's eyeball, because that's what kicked
Let's
off
start
the
off.
show
Is that
today.
the first clip? Yeah.
Yeah. So Ronnie, I've done an edit job on these clips. I mean, wow, these was when Howard and Ronnie talk.
Oh, yeah.
It's just they butt in on it. They jump all over each other's words. So I cut it up. But Ronnie was having sex with Stephanie, and his eyeball apparently popped out, and this needed to be talked about 15 minutes, I think it was. It was really rough, and Ronnie's really slow. The pauses between Howard asking him a question, you have 2-3 seconds, and then he's got to say, he's got to do like a few seconds preamble of,
And then I got up afterwards, and I went in the bathroom.
Sorry.
No, okay,
Yeah,
no, play
John-
it. I got something. I'll say it after this. I'm sorry. I thought
So
I didn't know
he-
you were going to.
It's all right. Sorry. He had intense sex, and then he felt weird and went to the bathroom.
And then I got up afterwards, and I went in the bathroom. I turned on the light, and I didn't even notice it. She noticed it. She goes, "What the fuck happened to your eye?" And the hole in the corner, it looked like, when you get pink eye, you have that big red spot.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't
That's
know.
what happened. So it's not the first time it's happened to me. But this time it was like weird because I didn't know what happened. Usually I noticed it right away, and I didn't even notice it. She noticed it. It was crazy, but
I was laying in bed last night watching TV. I wasn't even having the fun Ronnie was having, and I just sometimes when you're sitting up in bed, and like I had my left leg like turned to the side. I don't know how to explain it, but I remember then I started to bring my leg back up, and my hip hurt. Like it was like crazy. Like I was like, Jesus, I'm so out of it.
And that's in the
Great
stuff.
yeah.
The kickoff of the show.
Oh my God,
That's
I'm
hyped. That's
I'm
the
getting sweats
level.
from this.
That's
I'm
not
lives
a
in
show.
Vegas, right?
PTSD.
How often do you think Ronnie goes to the Spearmint Rhino?
Oh, weekly. At least weekly. At least.
Yeah, I think next time you have the stripper use a dental dam, homie.
Absolutely.
That got in your eye.
Now let's talk about JD kissing Chris, which is just the only reason I clipped this is because it just shows that they're writing this, and they're Chris saying that it was written and put up. So
What did
listen
you
to this.
make of JD kissing Chris last week for Gay Pride?
I talked to somebody about that, and I can't figure it out. I'm trying to figure it out what's going on with him, but I can't figure
Who'd
it
you
out.
talk to? Who'd you talk
I talked to Blake.
What are you thinking about that? What are you trying to figure out? I could probably help you.
Right there, hear that there? That's Howard saying get on the script.
About that. What are you trying to figure out? I could probably help you.
I'm trying to figure out, first of all, JD, I know is not, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but he's not into it. And
He's
I'm
not gay.
I'm trying to figure out why he did it.
JD, you want to answer, or should you want me to explain to Ronnie? Because I really don't know either. But what? Because you came in and said, "Yeah, I want to show solidarity."
Well, listen, show solidarity mainly, but yeah, Chris suggested it. He wrote it jokingly, but I thought it was funny. So that's basically, I thought it was funny, but also gay people aren't really getting a lot of people are shitting on gay people lately, and I'm not into that. And I want to try to show some, well, you know what I mean, but show some solidarity and stuff like that. So
Yes, that's what
It
gay
was
people
weird.
want.
I'm still
What's
trying to wrap
JD?
my head around it, Howard.
What the fuck is he saying? What is he saying?
Yeah,
what is he saying?
Is there a general major issue in America over the
No,
last couple of months?
I don't know what he's talking
or
about.
Just in general, yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was wondering what?
The gay
They've been
community has
copying
never been more
shit.
galvanized than right now. It's gay
Oh,
pride on
man.
the show every single day.
You
It's
should
like,
come
yeah,
over to
yeah.
Australia. You turn on the news. You look. It's everywhere. It's not people shitting on it. You look at that latest Apple announcement last week. Tim Cook was standing under a giant rainbow structure. I don't know what they're talking about. Hatred towards it.
It's something to make
who
talking
wrote
points.
this? Who
You know what?
wrote
You know
this
what?
crap
That's the
to
entire gay
read?
community on JD. Hey, we're good. We're good, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially, we don't need your help.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
No community needs his help.
But
Nobody.
Chris pops in here to talk about how it's written. This is a written bit, which I found interesting.
It was weird. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, Howard, because I put the note up and no one bid on the note, and I just figured it was dead. And it was JD who came up to me, like he just poked his little head over. You said, "I won't make out with you, but I'll give you a pat."
So that's the crap they're writing. So
70
he wrote
writers,
that.
baby.
Chris said, we want to talk about this. And this
honestly,
went on for another 10
this is
freaking minutes.
Howard is so boring, even amongst his predictable bits. Like the actual question after that grossness would be, did you get half a chub? You know, like it's.
He didn't
like
do that though. It was weird. It was weird.
It's such a freaking it's so insincere. Everything they do, nothing is
forced.
ever.
Even the
Yes,
Ronnie
forced.
conversation was forced. What Bon Jovial said there, I have not seen anybody say yet in all the time we've been doing this show, in all the critiques. He said something pretty brilliant. I don't know if in its simplicity. Have you realized that Howard and Ronnie have absolutely zero chemistry whatsoever? For two people that have driven together and been together for how many years, they don't bounce. It's like they're in two different rooms. It's like they've never spoken before. They have zero chemistry in every way,
it's
shape,
like
and form.
strangers meeting.
Yeah, it's like they just met.
Sorry, you
Right.
dropped your wallet. I just went to pick it up for you.
Right,
You
right.
know? Yeah.
Awkward, stilted shit.
I kind of that's all on Howard because Howard has to pretend to be
That
human.
is Howard.
Howard is not a great communicator at any stretch, and this just proves it because this is a man he spent a lot of time with, and he can't have a natural conversation with him at all.
It doesn't work.
Unbelievable.
But their roles, he's not supposed to. He's supposed to always look down on Ronnie, so he can't ever say "Good on you, man."
He's
Well done,"
a plebeian.
It's always,
he's a
why
plebe.
did you do
He's a
that?
poor.
It's so dumb. Because he used to be able to side with them whenever it was appropriate, but he never does that. I don't think he really does that now.
You know,
He
speaking
doesn't-
to Xavier's point, who does he have good chemistry, as I think about it?
Nobody.
Who does he have a good rapport with? I don't know anybody who he bounces off well now.
Ralph.
Ralph.
Yeah, Dennis, that's a
even
good one.
that.
That's as good as
He does
any.
Ralph.
Even that
Yeah.
at this point.
Absolutely does.
I mean,
Yeah.
If
I'll
you,
go
if
with
you
that.
mean
he
like,
thinks he has that camaraderie with Jimmy Kimmel, but
No.
I think Jimmy Kimmel's just kind of pulling his leg. more
He
than
just
anything else.
sounds like a fanboy trying to placate to him every time they speak. Yep.
Exactly.
if you're
it's-
talking about staff, I think he has a better. He can talk to Jason. He can talk to John. They can both talk together, and they're not going. Ooh.
But even
They're okay.
John and Jason talk to him like he's the boss. not
I was
like
going to say,
somebody
they speak
know.
fluent narcissists. That's the only reason.
Yeah, I mean they're not really having a conversation with him. They're not on equal ground.
Let's just look. Let's look at his marriage for an example. Do you guys think he's convinced himself that Beth would spit on him if he wasn't married? I mean, Rich.
That comes up
He
in
knows
his
that.
clips later
I mean,
too.
you know what? I used to think that was a
course not.
given, that he knew that
No,
she
he
was in it
doesn't.
just for the free ride. At this point, I don't. I think he's convinced himself that there was more to him than his bank account with Beth.
Oh, I think I struggle with that all the time. I think he's convinced himself he's good looking now, and he's also convinced himself that he's Generation X.
I think you know what? 'Cause she's such a good grifter.
Yeah.
She really
No,
blew smoke up his. I mean, the 60-minute bit that we always reference that it's all about him, Ed. If you look at that clip and just look on Howard's face, he's smitten. That is, he waited his entire life for someone to treat him like a demigod.
Mama Judy raised the perfect gold digger. I mean, I give her credit. She raised the perfect gold digger. The perfect one.
Absolutely.
The long haul. The long haul, baby.
Long haul, bro. Carl Ripken Jr. thinks she's long haul.
You see, Bond, an American, Baltimore Orioles shortstop Cal Ripken Jr. was a guy who played every game all the time.
Oh, thank you.
It's the iron.
That young chess player. She's like that dude. You know, it's absolutely. She completely got him by the balls, and he believed
By the hair system.
the crap that she spewed to him, and he's such a narcissist that rather than go, wait a second, look at her, look at me, look at is there really more than just her being in it for money? No, he should have had that. Absolutely.
Bon, the most impressive thing is you got the blessing from Don Henley to use Boys of Summer. I mean, that guy is pricklier than Prince when it comes to granting his rights.
That's why I'm not worried about being monetized.
He loves
no, I checked. It's getting monetized.
Use my music, please.
Are you sure?
Oh yeah, I got a little trick. I did a little trick on that.
Trick.
Play that back and then quickly play back the original version. The pitch, but you're close enough. Close enough. Let's talk about Howard getting into. He checked in on his mum, and this is some pretty depressing stuff. And if you're, as I've said before, if you're driving to work listening to this isn't going to make you feel like getting.
Yeah, right.
Bed.
That's a real pick me upper in the morning, right?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. She always makes me feel bad. I'm talking to my mom, and she says to me, you know, all of my friends tell me how handsome you are. And I was like shocked, you know.
Nice.
I was like,
how nice,
right.
yes.
Everybody, you should see how many people tell me how handsome you are. I go, that's wonderful. Then all of a sudden she starts muttering to herself. She goes, geez, I never thought of you as handsome.
Oh, boy.
I never ever considered you handsome.
Comments?
This is classic fishing for compliments, right? I mean, every day he has 10 segments where he's fishing for compliments.
John nails it, like always.
This
it's
is
like
as real as his hair.
saying, hey, you know what? You're not bad looking.
No mother's going to say that.
No.
If she's got dementia right now, that's okay that she says that to him.
All right.
He's talking about conversation last week he's making, either made up or...
All right, this was the first conversation he's had about Ray in a couple months. This never happened. It is 100% fishing for compliments, like John said. This is just fishing for compliments, because he honestly, this is not a real conversation. It's not a real thing. It is just him trying to find somebody to say he's good looking, and that's all it is. And that's all this is.
Mr. D beat me to it. That's a good catch by you, Bon. Yep. It was a good. Could you guys imagine having a 70-year-old in your life this obsessed with vanity that goes to that degree? It's really insane when you think about it. The older he gets, the more insanely ridiculous this is. I don't know females. I don't know women who are this vain. He's beyond anything, and he's convinced himself, by the way, I say this all the time, he's now successfully come full circle to convince himself he's in Generation X, because I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but you hear during the Pat Cooper segment, it was very, very quickly, he goes, Pat Cooper was the comedian my parents enjoyed. No, he's younger than your mom. No, he's directly for you. He is for you, not for your parents. He's for you, like you were for us.
Was Pat 80 maybe?
Pat is
93.
the same age. Pat is 2 years younger than Ray, and 6 years younger than Ben.
Oh, okay.
And so supposedly Pat is the comedian meant for his parents. No, he's meant for you.
Yeah.
You're not the Generation X.
Yeah, you're right. That's I like that. That's classic.
That's the first thing I heard when I tuned in. I'm like, I gotta bring. I almost wrote it down.
One day he will say that he saw Jimmy Kimmel as a kid.
Yeah, yes, that's coming.
When I was in high school,
that's coming.
Watch, it'll happen. Before he retires, that story will come out.
When I was a kid, I used to watch The Man Show and Adam and Jimmy.
Exactly, man.
Oh, Bon, did you clip the thing when he was talking about Stone Table Simple Pilots?
I didn't, but I heard it. Scott, Scott.
Oh, you did?
Weiland,
Okay, because
I heard it.
because that goes more to what Arm was talking about, because that's the whole trying to be Gen X.
That's exactly right, Dennis. I was thinking that too when I heard that.
So insane.
And he said that Scott wrote that about taking heroin. And it's very ambiguous lyrics. I don't really. And then he said Scott once said that. Scott once said that being a heroin addict was being like a fly in Vaseline. I'm like, oh, wow. Very great, man.
There's no pathos or angst or pain that Howard relates to on any level with what Scott Weiland went through. They have no commonality at all, except they're anorexic. And I don't think Scott Weiland really cared about his weight. He just did so much heroin he forgot to eat. There's nothing in common.
That's right. Yeah. That's all. Scott wouldn't have cared about that.
No, I really don't think he did.
No.
I love being a junkie.
What?
I
was like, I was going to rip into her and go, you know what? People who hate themselves and can't stand the way they look, can't imagine anything good looking coming out of their vagina.
Well, that would have been nice. Yeah, nice.
Well, I should have, but I bit my tongue. Then I go, oh, she's old. She doesn't know what she's saying, but she fully knows what she's saying. I never thought, everyone tells me how good looking you are. But me, I always thought of you as my little monster, like what the doctor said, that you look like a mongoloid. I don't think there's anything attractive about me. And then poor Beth is like, honey, I think you're handsome. And I'm like, yeah. Right. When your mom tells you you're heinous.
So this went on. He did, whoever wrote he did 20 minutes or 30 minutes of him running through his mother, making jokes at him and laughing. Like, it was just non-stop. He just kept putting on the voice and trying to do jokes that his mum said. And Fred was throwing in applause behind it. And
it was terrible. That was one of the times I actually started doing real work. The thing is, he's conflating that story again about him being born. The doctor did not say he looked like a mongoloid. He said he smiled like a mongoloid, which means he was a happy baby. That's what he said.
I get what you mean.
That's the real story. This was all fake. It was him fishing for compliments.
And I clipped
he killed
one.
A lot of time.
I clipped one of his jokes in his mother's voice, and this is such a hack joke that it's something.
Who told you I was handsome, Mom? Helen Keller, the nurse.
Oh,
I didn't know she was a nurse.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, it's a hack reference from a hack show. How about no more Helen Keller references? No more Stevie Wonder. No more Ray Charles. Let's turn the attention to Jeff Healey. That's the new blind reference we're going to go with from now on. Or
that Helen Keller joke is from the 80s.
Yeah,
it
was hack in the 80s, Bon.
There's nobody born in the 2000s that knows that reference.
No.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Oh.
It's either Matt Murdock or Jeff Healey. I will take any of the blind jokes.
Yeah.
And that's hard
if
when
anything,
you like.
When he was born, the doctor said, "Give me the thongs. The nose is stuck."
Exactly.
Ronnie Millsap. Autobot. That's good.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Beth's rabbit. Any thought? And Xavier, I've never asked you this. Do you listen live or do you just skip through after or not at all?
I kind of like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Man.
Okay, cool.
I don't have, unfortunately or fortunately.
Did you hear this? The
I don't
rabbit
have the
section?
time to invest in this.
I thankfully missed the rabbit section. Yay.
Well, this is just whoever wrote this again. Tell me who you think wrote this after we
have a rabbit named Jessica Rabbit. And
everything
Beth
is
in
basic
love with
bitch.
the rabbit. She's
Basic
down there
bitch,
with the
basic
rabbit.
bitch.
She spends more time with the rabbit than she does with me.
Yeah, I was going to ask
Poor
you.
baby.
I was going to ask if you didn't think if someone asked you to name a rabbit, what would you name it if it was female? I bet so many people would say Jessica Rabbit.
A 14-year-old girl would name it Jessica Rabbit, right?
That's basic
It's
bitch.
just
With the Arrested Development. Basic bitch. This is why we call her the basic bitch.
This is basic bitch.
She's what the kids call a basic bitch.
Actually,
I would go for one of the Watership Down rabbits personally.
They actually have two rabbits, not just
They
one.
do.
They have two.
The
freaking
Wascally
rabbits.
too.
What?
And
Wascally, yeah.
so this leads into a few other things because of
Rabbit
course
season.
we've got to hear about Beth all the time.
And then when she comes to be with me, she's all. Last night I said, "Are you angry or something?" She goes, "I'm just exhausted from the rabbit and the 57 cats." I go, "Well, there's nothing left for me." So anyway, she wants me to paint a picture of the rabbit, and I'm working on it. It's a cute little painting of the rabbit with flowers on top of her head, and it's really cool. And I'm working hard on it. I've been working on it for weeks.
Sure.
And she walked by my office and I go, "Honey, come see your rabbit." She goes, "I'll see it when it's done." And I went, and it put me in a major tailspin because I'm still that little boy that needs some kind of like praise or positive admiration. Come see my work.
Encouragement, acknowledgement, yes.
Tell me I'm good. Tell me I'm talented.
You know that's not her saying I don't love you.
Right.
It's
Yeah, it
just
is.
you being needy.
This whole thing about his mother, and this was all written as one story.
I know, he's gonna punch
for
him in
like
the face.
40 minutes.
You're
and
My shrinks helped me
69.
get in touch with it. So after I was
years
devastated,
old.
Beth just kind of shut the door on me because she's exhausted.
That
just
your
want to tell you,
grandfather.
this is the needy little boy inside of you, whose mother says, "I never thought of you as handsome," or your father never said hello to you, or never praised you, or never paid attention to anything you did, or thought you were the apple of his eye, or anything. And you got to just fucking not pin that on your wife. You gotta just, I don't know what you got to do, but you got to know what's going on. He told me just to feel it, just feel the intensity of my need to be looked at and admired. And then I did what the psychiatrist said. I just went, okay. And I did that, but I don't feel any better, I guess.
To drink.
He said he said the shrink said to feel that, to let it happen. And then he said just at the end there, he did that.
I did that, but I don't feel any better, I guess.
It sounds like he's talking like someone who's seen a shrink for the first time.
Yeah.
And gone home
Keep
and
in mind,
tried what they're saying, and it's confusing him. This is his life is now psychotherapy.
The shrink.
bullcrap.
The therapy, I've always said from day one, is, well, first of all, it was court-ordered in the beginning with Allison and the kids. So in order, I'm sure, for Allison not to clean him out entirely, he agreed to some court-ordered therapy to do with the kids. And that was bullshit. So we waited that out, and now therapy is used as an excuse. So, I'm working on myself. It's the greatest excuse to claim you're evolved or you're higher off the ground than us.
I like it.
Someone
I think
is
it's
paid
good.
to listen to him. You know.
Yeah, right. Some lemming that's going to listen to you for 45 minutes and not long.
Benny Musso actually on the website actually had a thread that wasn't terrible. It was about what does Howard talk to about with his psychiatrist, and it's
Slightly
literally
insulting
I
to
think
Benny.
he just talks about. I think he just talks about the show, like
He's a
literally doing
professional
show
victim,
prep.
Dennis.
Yeah, exactly. He's just doing show prep though. Like he probably bounced that mother thing off the psychiatrist the other day, and it ended up being in the show today. Literally. And
Half
yes,
his
I
line
had to
of
get a dig
questioning
on
for
that.
guests are ripped off from therapy. They're
Exactly.
like psychology 101 questions that he took from his and require just a very, very long form answer. And he looks evolved and he looks like cares what the guy thinks, but there's nothing behind it.
No,
it's.
I think let's keep in mind today's June the 12th. That means he's 5 months away from being 70. Yeah. He is exactly 5 months away from being 70 years old. And this guy is acting like literally he's a prepubescent like a kid whose parents just broke up and he has to take court ordered shrinkage. He is he's so thirsty, man. He's such a thirsty man for compliments.
He makes Beth look like she's, it's been like, drinking gallons of water. He's so thirsty. I mean, Beefus doesn't fish this hard for compliments. Yeah. I mean, this is amazing.
I mean, if we're talking about people who are being paid to be with Howard, how come Beth hasn't stepped up to the plate? Because essentially she's getting paid to be married to him.
Yes, it is.
Wait, is it 6 months or 5 months? June?
No, it's 7. It's actually
January 12th.
8 months.
Oh, is it? Yeah, okay.
It's
yeah,
7
you know what?
months in December.
I'm Hey, Bobby.
We lost you there for a second, Xavier.
And to state the obvious, we've been saying this since we started the show, has anybody made therapy look worse than he does? As far back as what would you say, guys? 98, 99, yeah. He claims to be going several times a week. Has anybody made it look worse? Could you have devolved less as a human being than him? Name one area he's improved at. Name one thing.
Honestly makes me want me to have his therapist thrown in jail for complete malpractice.
Yeah, and
I mean,
a great example.
Honestly.
I mean, the part near the end of the episode tonight, he talked about horse semen for like 5 minutes, and that that was disgusting.
No, John Doe, I agree with you. He hasn't gone in years. I agree. I think it's the greatest excuse to say you're working on yourself to look deep. I agree. He hasn't actually done it in years. I totally agree.
That all the time.
I say that all the time.
But you guys notice that when his interviews went from like baloney on boobs to this pseudo psycho Freudian interviews, and he's just ripping off his shrink. It's all he's done. And then people, you are such a good interviewer. No, you're not, man. All he's doing is ripping off some shrink that he's paying $300 an hour to.
Right. But
remember this. Good.
I still think he goes, though, just because it makes him feel like he's actually
Evolved.
important. Like, important.
I'm deeper than you.
Like other people in Hollywood, because he goes to
somebody
to discuss his deep problems, which he has none.
Yeah,
And
exactly. What exactly is there to actually get over at this point?
Nothing. Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah,
There's nothing.
the only problems he could have is a divorce or a lawsuit. That's it.
No, those aren't problems because he throws money at that. That's not a problem. That's throwing money at it.
That's true. That's
fine.
no. I mean, health. Then that's it. That's the only problem.
He has no health problems.
One thing he's
if
fantastic
he gets a
at
disease.
is painting himself as a victim, and that's what people normally do in therapy. Is unless your therapist is ballsy enough to call you out, is you pretty much will paint yourself as a victim. I've done it. You paint yourself as a victim to your therapist until they push back.
His therapist is raking in the cash, and all you have to do is say, "But Howard, you're important." You know.
Mr. D has a question. Guys, think of logistics. When and where do you think he sees a shrink? He sees them on Zoom.
If that, I don't even think he does that. I think I don't think he wants the guy in his house. I don't think he wants him knowing anything about him. I don't even think he does that, Dennis.
Oh, there's a phoner? He does a phoner?
If that. No, I don't think he does anything. I think that's just a great alibi to claim he's working on himself.
I think to
get out of things. My shrink said that I don't have to go to this. My shrink told me it's not a good idea to go to Ronnie's wedding. My shrink told me it's the greatest out in every situation.
I don't know.
That's true. It's very true. And
I think it's like a badge of honor to keep going. I honestly
to say you kept going, not to go, but to say to make them believe that you're going.
Are we doing a knock knock?
So the door came back, and guess who was at the door today?
Liza. I'm in the middle of talking about my parents. Liza Minnelli, everyone. I guess you're...
Howard Stern, I love you so much. Howard, I've just been listening to you talk, and I have to tell you something. I think you're very handsome.
Like
I think you're very attractive. And I think that if you're looking to gain people's approval and for people to look at you and be admired, I have the solution. You gotta be on Broadway. You just gotta be in a Broadway show, Howard. It's gotta make you feel so good. You know what I mean?
You know, Liza, I got to tell you, I tried to watch the Tonys last night. I got through 5 minutes of it. I know you love it. I know you love Broadway and show business, and you come from a show business family. I mean, your mother, my God, she was the biggest star in the world, Judy Garland.
My mama was Judy Garland. I love my mama so much. You know, my childhood wasn't like yours. I had a normal childhood. It was just normal. I mean, I played the piano with my mother just like all.
That is a basic bitch impersonation of
I got a theory.
That is.
I'm embarrassed to say that I know this, but could that have been Rosie O'Donnell doing that impression?
No, it is not.
The real Rosie O'Donnell. Like she's got nothing. She has nothing better to do. And she's obsessed with Liza Minnelli, and Howard's friends with her.
This woman that does that voice is one of the back office.
I know this back office woman. Maybe Rosie insisted that she does the best Liza Minnelli, and she wanted to do it.
I don't know. I don't think.
Just taking a stab. She's got nothing else to do. She might as well do impressions.
Rosie at least would probably have better material. There was no material. It was awful.
Was that Rachel Butera or that stupid Samantha that we hear?
I think it's Rachel Butera that does that, and Samantha does a few of the others. I think it's Butera that does that horrible. And I mean, honestly, talk about somebody that people under 50 don't know who she is. I mean, Liza Minnelli. I mean, honest to God.
People under 50 barely know who Howard is.
I know, but I mean, Liza Minnelli. I mean, she was big in the early 70s. I mean, this is not...
I don't know when she was big. Yeah, I actually don't know when she was ever popular.
Cabaret, when she did Cabaret.
No. I got one.
What?
The last thing she did that the general public knew who she was Arthur.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, my God.
That might have been the biggest thing she ever did.
Last time we heard from her.
84? 85?
81.
80. Oh my God!
I went to grab a box of Pop-Tarts and Rosie O'Donnell got the last
40,
one.
Dude, I was
years ago.
What was that clip?
Elementary
that drop
school.
You just played.
That's some classic arm there.
And I don't even remember saying that. I went to grab a box of Pop-Tarts and Rosie O'Donnell.
I'm not saying she didn't do anything after that.
What?
No, she did nothing.
She didn't do anything after that, but that's the last time that she did anything worth this crap where everybody knew. Wow. Okay, I saw that.
Oh, I agree.
Xavier's going
Dudley
off.
Moore's been dead, for 20 years now or something like that?
Here's another one, John.
I want to have a pool table in honor of Rosie O'Donnell that says no scissoring. What? God, God, I'm getting senile. I don't remember doing that. I don't
How
remember
could
doing that.
dude, you've probably done 500 podcasts. You could never easily. You might have done 1,000, dude.
Okay,
I
so
could
people
not
saying,
remember.
At least tell me what year that was from. Is that from the early days?
I don't know. I guess it'd be, if I made notes like that, it would take so long. But I wish I knew. It might be 2005, in fact.
Did you know, X, that she did 21 episodes of Arrested Development?
Okay, I hear that was a good show, but
No. You're right for the most part. I'm just saying I'm going through it, and it's just cameo appearances all the way to Arthur.
What's it, Jason Bateman, right? Whatever.
Yes.
It was a good show. It was a really good show.
He's a great actor and stuff, and I'm sure a lot of people saw it, but not enough. You know, you think Arrested Development, you don't go, oh my God, Liza.
No, you're right. Yeah. I'm just saying it's the only thing substantial she's done. Everything else is cameos, playing herself and showing up. And
it was a big thing for her, actually. It was pretty big.
It's like saying, oh, Elizabeth Taylor, I remember her from the Flintstones.
Exactly.
Not too many people bridge that gap. That chasm is quite deep.
All right, so now let's move on to the
private parts. We're getting to the core of the good stuff. Yeah, give us a rundown.
All right, so what happened is that a caller from Buckwald calls in and once again talks about private parts and sets up Howard to go into this whole thing about how private parts was, this whole big production, and he never stated that it was a love story to his wife, which is kind of funny because that's what it was, and that it was a big deal, and that he could have had other roles. And, he went over this. Yeah. So
that's like Roy Scheider talking about Jaws and not mentioning the shark. You know?
Yeah, I know. So
let's hear it.
He had some whoppers in this. There was some good whoppers in this one.
Oh, there's some great stuff. Oops, hold on.
Is it in the past now, or is it in the future?
You're behind. You're in the past.
I know that.
But that's another thing about Monique. Monique is 5 hours ahead of you now. So everything's changing for you guys while she's
We're international.
On her trip, which we didn't even talk about.
We covered 3 continents right now.
Absolutely.
He's happy just to be in the film, right, Gary? You were happy with your role.
So the caller asks if Gary was annoyed that he only got a small role in the movie.
He's happy just to be in the film, right, Gary? You were happy with your role.
I was thrilled to be in the movie. The whole movie takes place before I even existed. So the fact that I got in the movie in any way was amazing.
Yeah, I think actually, I forget who came up with that mechanism. I don't remember, but it was just kind of genius to have Gary standing there with different Whack Pack members. And it was kind of a cool way to say to people, this is like where our show went. And even though it was like the beginning. So, I don't know. I thought it was I think that movie was brilliant.
Hey, John.
What
John
is
can
he?
put this in perspective for us. Can you imagine if Depp only talked about movies, Donnie Brasco, which came out
the same day. It's funny you said that.
Exactly. Can you imagine if right now all Donnie did is just reference that one movie in the late 90s? That's Howard.
Say that it's brilliant,
Yeah, he said it's brilliant. The whole setup though, with the guy asking the ridiculous question about Gary, that's what it was. It was a ridiculous question because it was so set up. So he has this talking point, and this killed 20 minutes of the show, talking again about private parts, which never had a 25th anniversary special edition.
That's right.
Kind of weird. So proud of it, but he didn't have a 25th year anniversary edition. That's strange. But he goes on, and actually what he says next gets even better. I remember
has he brought up Reicher Entertainment at all in all this time? He brings up private parts twice a week in the most ridiculous way. As Spandrel, one of the top Mocketeers now, said today, which is great. And I think this point's been made before, but it's so well stated. Planted phone call so that Howard can revisit the Al Bundy moment of glory with private parts. I scored 4 touchdowns in a single game. That's exactly right. It's the perfect comparison.
Yeah, it's or even a better comparison would be imagine if what's his face Ice Cube only talked about Anaconda.
Absolutely.
Which I think came out the same, couple
year,
of months.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's some year, that 97.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard an actor refer to a movie as brilliant that they were in? I can't think of anyone saying that in interviews. I can't.
Well, no, except Steven Seagal. He would say that. That's the only person I would know.
I think that movie was brilliant. I really do, and I'm not saying it to pat myself on the back. I'm saying again, Ivan Reitman, Betty Thomas, Lenny Bloom. I could not have trusted anybody other than Betty Thomas, and I trusted that she and Ivan would know what was right in the end. You know that.
What about Martin Scorsese? You couldn't have trusted Martin Scorsese, really?
Betty Thomas's career.
Betty
ended.
Thomas.
Come on,
I've never heard of her.
Would know what was right in the end. You know, that they would edit it properly. And
just think of all the schlocky movies that have come out, the biopics. They're just horrible. They're mundane, maudlin, you know, cookie cutter. This was a real movie.
So Robin's saying, here's what I get out of that reading between the lines. Robin's saying, if you're going to write a biopic, lie about your life and make up fantastical stories. Howard's a fabulist. You know, if that term means you learned it during the death trial, where just make up lies about your life and take other people's stories to make yourself look fabulous.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. It's a fictional retelling. Yeah, it wasn't like.
Oh, the Private Parts is my favorite fiction movie ever. I mean,
science fiction.
Yeah.
Pure science fiction. I mean, Plan 9 for Outer Space was more believable than Private Parts.
Oh, nice.
Seriously.
Well, I mean, let's just pick another movie from that year. What's more believable, Private Parts or Shack in Steel?
Oh, that came out? Steel came out that year?
God.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Never
Shack
heard
in
of
Steel.
it.
Superman movie.
But
Twilight's more
when
believable.
Arnold, says Ivan was great to him. It's not. Ivan's 100% right because Arnold was. Ivan also.
Okay, he starts talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger, and this is classic Howard being just so off.
Ivan also, when Arnold, says Ivan was great to him. It's not. Ivan's 100% right because Arnold was an action hero, which was against all odds. But then Ivan said,
Easy,
I think
Phil
it could
Collins.
be in a comedy with Danny DeVito. Now you look at it and you go, of course he could be. But, man, putting Arnold Schwarzenegger in Twins, one of the greatest comedies of all time, only Ivan could pull that off. Only Ivan.
Yeah,
and it was a brilliant idea. And, so the movie studio hated me because I had
everything's an underdog, sir.
Something like 21 scripts I had rejected.
Everything's
I had written some of them. I just knew they weren't right. And I was not going to make a bad movie.
So, wow. I was not going to...
the thing is, he
said all this before. He's so full of it.
You cut out the one piece there. He said that he watched... that he was
I've
famous.
I've got more.
He was with him being famous and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I don't recall. Hold on. I'll see. I've got more here. I've got another minute. Hold on.
The movie studio got so pissed at me for rejecting all these scripts because they had to spend money on writers.
Underdog.
They said, we're getting Jeff Goldblum to play you. And I said, well, you can do that. It won't work. Trust me, I want to make this movie. I'm not jerking you guys around, but it's got to be the right movie. And when Ivan finally stepped in, this was years and years of not the right script, and I felt like an asshole. In one phone conversation, Ivan said to me, here's the movie. And I went, oh, my God, you're right. I said, please be the executive producer of this movie. And he said, I would love to, but you got to make a deal with our studio. I work for Paramount. I said, I'll do anything. And then the deal was made. What a great guy.
What a great guy.
And
but listen
Didn't he confess that he wanted to improv the whole movie? And then told him to shut the hell up?
Yeah. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. He did. You're right. Yeah.
So when he was talking about Schwarzenegger, he brought up a thing that's like, Schwarzenegger became a star, before I became famous.
Yeah, I've got that. That's
you
coming
got
right
that,
now.
which is insane. This is just.
This is the best. Yeah, you're right. This is classic Howard, like being mental. I still can't understand how he gets the energy to just read these lines here with this wonderment.
There's nobody
Ivan
checking him.
finally stepped in.
That's like the parents.
This was years and years of not.
It's like he's telling a fairy tale to a child. The fairy
that's what Private
came
Parts
down.
is. It was a fairy tale.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the Arnie stuff, this is brilliant, and he did. Let's not pass over that he said Twins is one of the greatest comedy movies ever.
I watched
Come on.
Twins. I watched Twins yesterday
Yep,
with my daughter.
okay.
It's a good
It's a
movie.
funny
it's
movie,
It's
but
a
it's
funny
not a big-
movie. The whole concept is funny, and Danny
I
DeVito.
looked up. I looked up
DeVito's
Rotten Tomatoes 100 best comedies. It's not even in the 100. Okay, and maybe that's
I did nothing. The pavement was his enemy.
if I mean. So he's annoyed at Arnold, and this is just the greatest. You're right, Dennis.
It used to be hard for me to watch the Arnold Schwarzenegger story before I was famous because I was like, I can't believe this guy with a funny name and an accent is conquering our country and conquering the movie industry. And I was like so jealous. I'd be like, what the fuck? He shouldn't be. He can't even speak right. I speak beautifully.
Yeah, but look at you.
But then I got famous and I realized, you know what? I love Arnold.
Wow.
Wait, so when
He
was
got
Conan
famous.
the Barbarian?
Early 80s?
80s, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
81, something like 82.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
a great
so
movie.
You
The
were
Middle of
already
Steel.
by 81 he was already through DC going to WNBC. So I guess at that point you're famous. So I have no idea. He's almost saying that I was watching Arnold's movies as a kid. I mean, literally.
He's very close to saying that.
That's
Yeah,
what
you're
he's
right,
almost
you're
saying.
right,
When
you're
he was a kid, I wasn't watching his movies. I was just like, wow. He is just conflating these stories and twisting to try to make himself seem like he's 40 years old, not 70 years old.
Yeah, Afi said too. He uses our. We are in the movie industry together. You're on the effing radio. You have zero to do with motion pictures. You have nothing to do with it.
He's not on the radio. He has a podcast on a pay system.
No, I just meant back in the
radio.
80s. It's all.
Oh, in the 80s,
okay.
yeah, he was in
I mean,
radio. Yeah.
Beetlejuice has more IMDb credits than Howard does. I mean, come on.
Not to mention the fact that the original thing is the reason it was Fart Man and John Avildsen was going to make it, and the reason he can't make it is because he stole the goddamn thing from National Lampoons, and every humanoid on the face of the earth thinks he made it up.
Wait, but even worse, John. The other part that killed it was the marketing of the toys. He actually wanted.
How can you get
Lucas
licensing
deal.
from something you don't own? It's National Lampoons.
That's what he wanted. That's what killed it, though.
Right.
He wanted Lucasing licensing. He wanted all the profits from anything sold about the movie.
Has he mentioned Reicher Entertainment on any level?
No.
When's the last time that's come up? I'd like to Mark's friggin' Google that. When the last time Reicher came
you
up?
must,
Does
because
ring a
it's probably
bell.
been a decade, maybe more.
I don't know.
Because
It
he
rings
ignores
a bell, though.
Because Reicher is obviously synonymous with the production company. He bankrupted after that thing came out.
Oh, so somebody came in the it was somebody in the thread this morning was like, how he can talk about it that it made money. No, Private Parts lost a lot of money because it was 40-something million to make, and then they promoted the hell out of it, and it made what, 40 million at the box
According
office?
to IMDb, it was $28 million
it
budget
made
and made 41 at the box office.
To this day, it probably hasn't broke even.
No, it's nowhere near broke even.
And you know what, though? I mean, let's not lose sight of what Howard's doing right now.
Yeah.
He's about to go on vacation.
Yep.
And rather than talk about anything relevant, current that's going on in his existence, talking about how he's still in that mansion, how his wife is canoodling physically within the last 24 hours on Instagram with complete strangers. And he doesn't talk about any of that. Instead, he always does this lazy radio. Let's talk about Private Parts for the umpteenth time.
Yeah,
and so it gets people talking about it. We get all worked up like, he sucks. But in the meantime, he's eating up that clock. You know what? He's in victory formation right now.
Oh, absolutely.
He's taking the knee, watching the clock go down, snap, knee. That's all he's doing right now. He'll be gone in a couple of weeks.
Oh, absolutely. So the other thing is, I don't know if we have the clip for it, but he's getting his final fitting.
Yes, that's right now.
There you go.
Oh, it is? Okay, good.
For the wedding talk, and Beth is this weekend, so he's actually talking about something current, unbelievably. Beth is apparently going into the city with an unnamed friend, of course. So that's a problem for him. And Robin has to play along with this garbage. Sometimes I feel sorry for her.
She hasn't left the city. She's been in the city for
weeks. She's going
weeks
into
now.
the city to be with a friend. And I'm all upset. Yeah, exactly.
What are you
right.
What are you gonna do?
I hate that. I'm all
that
upset.
pre-laugh he does.
I mean, and I'm trying. I'm like, oh, honey, go have a good time. Also, I told her she's got to be so fucking careful. She's going into the city. I said, my daughter's getting married very soon, and we can't get COVID. So she doesn't get COVID because then we can't go to the wedding. If I can't go to the wedding, my daughter will have a conniption.
Really?
I just want to hit him.
I think his daughter would be relieved. You just pay for it, Dad.
Just pay the check.
You don't
Just
have
write
to
the
come.
check, Daddy. Just write the check, Daddy.
The entire
turn
wedding
out
is going to be
anyway.
tailored for his convenience and what makes him happy.
Within the last 24 hours, Beth has posted not one, not two, but 3 pictures of her literally arm in arm with complete strangers.
That's weird.
And this is just like tip of the iceberg of what she's been doing now for weeks since they got back from Florida. And so you're telling me that all of a sudden he's concerned about her having some date with some person? Give me a break.
So the other thing, I don't know if we have where he's getting his tux fitting.
That's
and
right here.
Final tux fitting is. Oh, you have that?
It's about right.
Okay.
It's right on it. Here we go.
This is so perfect at this point.
Yeah.
And
she's going into the city for a day, right? She's not going to
No,
stay.
she's doing some activities.
Is it an overnighter?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Ralph's coming in later in the week, and we're doing the final fitting for my tuxedo.
Listen to this guy's 70 years old. Nobody cares what you're wearing.
Yeah, exactly. And he makes a big deal about
Could
it.
you imagine a 70-year-old coming to your wedding?
Wait. So John,
here's
the
thing,
Emperor's new clothes.
Oh, my, yeah, that's
Wait,
exactly right, Bon.
We're missing the
Go,
point.
Dennis.
The thing he's going for a final fitting. That means this wedding, I was right, and Monique can suck it, because the wedding is going to be the 23rd of June. His last day is going to be the 21st of June. He's done. He's going to do 9 shows and be done, because that wedding's that weekend, and he's done.
Donzo, buddy.
He's gone.
Because I never fuck up.
Because that fitting is that he's going to
Dennis,
do
don't do the touchdown dance until you're in the end zone.
I understand that, but this is setting up so perfectly.
He is doing Dion right now.
He's doing the icky shuffle on the 3-yard line.
He's high stepping it, and he's at the 20 right now.
What a beautiful day for a ball game.
Yeah, he is honestly, he is looking. He knows he only has 2 weeks left, and then he's just done. And he's getting his tuxedo done this week, and he's going to do that at the last minute because he's such a narcissist. He doesn't want to be fat. They're going to have the wedding, and then he's done. Because honestly, the week after is leading into 4th of July, so it's kind of like that weird. It's a weird week. Because
part of Ralph's skill is to convince Howard he needs him to fit him for a year straight.
Well,
can you imagine these 2 fruit baskets obsessing over this for a year? This guy's 70 years old. Nobody gives a flying fuck what you wear at this wedding.
John, you nailed it though. 2 fruit baskets.
Yeah,
there's nothing about getting fitted.
That's the real show. Him and Ralph talking about.
There's no way they're not playing Peanuts, but
I know
exactly.
None.
All right, so they get into this though because Ralph loves this stuff. This I've got to point this out.
Oh, Christ.
Fred starts hitting these drops. But they sound like he's fallen asleep and his elbow has hit the button. There's a couple in here, and they're so badly timed.
Oh, Bon, did you hear them throw it to him about Pat Cooper today? How it took him like 15 minutes to respond. They had the dead air.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got the clip of when he responded, and it's just like, oh, good, could you kill us?
How dare you call on me? Fred's got to be making, from all reports that I've really tried to look into it, he's making somewhere between $4 and $6 million a year to do this. Forget Howard. We know what Howard makes. Fred's easily got the easiest job in radio. It's not even
overpaid. It must be, man. It must be. Like, he did a lot of drops in this episode, though. Like, there's a lot of sounds. Like, he was putting in applause all the time. So he's doing something at least, I guess.
Think about what you could do to his... If you were running Sirius, if Howard wasn't a partner and you could program this, you would take... The first thing you do is you take Fred's salary away and put an afternoon show on Howard 101 and hire a legitimate host. And you probably somewhat get your money's worth. Can you believe this guy makes $7 million a year? I love bringing it back to Fred all the time. I think he gets way too much of a pass. And I hate men.
That's why I love our Hate Fred show, because honestly,
I want to go back to it so bad. Pat Cooper and Extravaganza and a Fred show.
They're some of the best radio gunks ever. They're in the top 10.
We need Eric the
Freds.
Midget this summer. We need an Eric the Midget show. Desperately. Desperately.
Oh,
you know what, John? The other day I was watching some Shaq and Charles clips on YouTube.
Yeah.
And arguably, inside the NFL TNT guys are the most entertaining people.
No, I agree with that, but I go with Bobby the Brain Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon before.
No, I think Shaq and Charles are absolutely kill it. And you know those guys are they make $10 million a year.
Yeah.
And think about what they make each, $10 million versus what Howard gets paid. And it's like 1 minute of TNT guys is way more entertaining than an entire year of Howard.
And they enjoy each other's company. They want to be there. They're fooling around.
They are the funniest guys on TV now.
They actually have like natural chemistry. Oh yeah, and they have IQs higher than posters.
They are so funny,
there's a little bit going on there.
They are.
We did a show of who would replace Howard. Who would you? I said Barkley. That was my number one answer. I said I would give Howard's salary to Barkley and would let him do whatever he wants. You can't cancel him. He'd be entertaining. There's nothing. I can watch him all day do anything. That was my number one answer, Barkley.
Absolutely, I agree with that 112%.
All right, so let's while this plays though, listen for those Ralph drops. They're so badly placed. It's just but Ralph anyway is so boring on this
Tuxedo
call.
and my suit for my daughter's wedding, and
who is making your tuxedo?
the one and only John Barbados.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was wondering.
Who else? Come on.
Who else would be making my suit? Well, Beth bought this dress for the wedding, and then I told her, there's no way she can wear it. It was too sexy. It was like, you could see her cleavage, and then there was a little cutout for her belly, and I was like, you can't wear it. She goes, it's such a cute dress, and I go, no.
Was that for the dinner or for the wedding?
No, for the wedding.
Yeah, maybe no belly at the wedding.
Yeah, exactly. So she got it.
Wait,
hey, so then, I'm going to try this.
Why? She's 51. Why does she have to get it? She's 51. Nobody wants to see your fucking faux bikini at Ashley's wedding. Could you imagine Ashley and her husband, Mordecai Goldstein, talking about Beth trying to upstage her at the wedding? You got to worry about your shitty mother-in-law wearing a bikini at your wedding.
Yeah. Why
what is this?
Wait,
why?
The horse.
Do you guys think that she's going to do a change of wardrobe from the wedding?
Oh, God, yes.
Absolutely.
10 times, yes.
Absolutely, yes. Well, the thing is, Howard just described the horse's outfit for the bridal shower, because that's what it wore. It wore that thing that showed off it had no cleavage and that it really is built like a linebacker. I mean, it has no taste, so I still say that the dress will be that ugly. I still say it'll be a totally ugly dress.
What do you guys think the over-under on total value of the crap that she wears for like the wedding reception?
$40,000.
40 grand?
She's already making the whole place uncomfortable.
What do you say, John? What do you say?
I think Emily and Deborah don't want to be in the same room as her. She's already making the whole place uncomfortable.
Just materialistic value of what Beth is going to wear to the reception.
Oh,
we'll eventually see a photo.
$500,000.
I think that's very fair.
I'm not Mario Cantone. I can't price dresses, but she will change 10 times.
I'm going to say 100 G's. Or she doesn't
There'll
show
be
up for
a
the
necklace that's worth 50,000 easy.
The jewelry will be the most important thing.
I say 100 G's.
Jesus.
We should have like a Vegas line for,
we could do that. We should do that because we'll get pictures. I know.
Babs the Rush is a great question. What happened to the baby shower? What's up with that? I mean the wedding, whatever that is.
They had it.
Oh, the bridal shower.
Bridal shower.
Bridal shower. Beefus
Well, we
went
saw
to it
what
dressed
she
like
wore
a
to
whore.
that. Allegedly.
So was Allison at the bride? Obviously, Allison was at the bridal shower, right? They can be in the same room. I can't see that. I can't see that.
Holy crap, that would be amazing.
But that's why Monique was correct in pointing out. That's why it dug out $25,000 worth of stuff to go to a bridal shower.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? She wants to be the richest person in the room. That's all there is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She doesn't care what it looks like. It's all about just going. I'm here. You are down here.
And what's Emily gonna wear? Is Emily gonna wear?
Oh, her lately, dude?
Yeah, she's gonna wear the Madonna bikini.
Like a cute kid to like a oof.
Oh wait, maybe you'll wear that blanket.
The Madonna bikini.
Oh, the Emily?
Emily with that
Is
blanket.
Emily presiding on this?
That's what
It's Emily.
It's Emily, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's Emily. 2005, 2006.
That should be a yuck fest.
Benjamin writes, I bet she wears a diamond-encrusted Ben Stern eye to the wedding.
Nice. Well done. That's a good one. So let's.
Gunga makes a great point, too. How drunk is she going to get at this wedding and make a fool out of herself?
Yeah,
that's got to happen. Open bar.
Yeah. She'll have a big spliff with someone. Ralph, she'll have a spliff with Ralph. That'd be great.
Oh, Ralph, definitely.
You're never going to get the stories. You won't ever get the stories.
Never.
We're not going to get any anecdotes from this thing. We're not going to know when it is. It's going to be like, we're going to learn about it in dance papers.
It'll be like in December, like, hey, didn't your daughter get married?
Yes, it's going to be
Ralph,
dance
what you did?
papers. Just like
It'll
Ben
be like in
dying.
December when we hear anything about this.
All right, we've got a little more of this Ralph clip.
What, do you got to take it for like a final thing again?
No. Hopefully it's all done, and we're just going to leave it and just leave you everything, and yeah.
Awesome.
And that's it.
Awesome.
But
Awesome.
if there's something has to be done, then we got to do it. But I don't think.
You'd like to hear this, Ralph? coming
It's
in?
amazing how
What
this stupid
timing
wedding
is
justifies
that?
Ralph's existence and in salary. As soon as
Wow,
Ralph heard
yeah.
she was getting married, he's got a purpose, and he's been parking on this for 2 years, and it gives him, it justifies his 112 pension plan and everything else.
That
I
drop
think that's
was
called
terrible.
an alibi.
Yeah, that timing is unfucking believable. I've just played.
I don't think anything else.
You should have made me a suit out of pajamas. My daughter's getting married like it's late at night.
Oh,
and I'm
I
like,
could have done that.
What a baby.
Who's getting married? What? How late?
It's like 7 o'clock. It literally, which is a normal time for people to get married.
There's nothing worse than him and his morning radio
7
bullshit.
o'clock.
Now let's crank it forward because Pat Cooper. Now Howard thinks that Pat Cooper invented
Pat
bada
Cooper
bing.
is credited for real for coming up with the expression bada bing. You know, using it and making it pop.
Making it popular. That was one of his talking points.
I'm not sure if that's true, but it's Howard essentially saying that I made it up because Pat made it up, so you wouldn't know about Pat. So I'm going to take credit for Bada Bing and the Soprano Strip Club.
Mm-hmm.
That's Howard's mentality.
Yeah, and then he takes credit for resurrecting Pat's career, apparently. So he's going to try this.
But yeah, I mean, I hadn't spoken to him in years. You couldn't speak to him, right, Gary? I mean, after a while, he got like all wound up.
Yeah, he was very upset. The other thing, Howard, is you
upset about what, Gary?
100% helped kind of resurrect his career, but you could never even insinuate that to him. I don't need you, but you really did. You put him back on the map again. But if you were to say that, he'd fucking yell at you.
Well, let's break this down. What does resurrect his career mean? That you did his show and no other show? He wasn't doing anything else but the Stern Show. Resurrect your career means he got other gigs from the show. He didn't get anything except this show. It didn't do anything. Everything he got, Seinfeld, he did a little Seinfeld cameo. It has nothing to do with being on the Stern Show. Resurrect your career means it led to something. It didn't lead to anything else. He was doing the same Catskills, Atlantic City gigs he was doing before Howard was there.
That's
Nothing
the
to do with it.
question I had. Okay, so you guys had never heard of him like before
Oh,
Howard was on.
I grew up with Pat Cooper.
Yeah, if you have Italian uncles,
yeah, I'm
and
Italian, so we always listen to Pat.
No way.
Pat Cooper. Yeah, I know it's strange, isn't it? But we always had Pat Cooper albums, and listen to it because we got the joke.
He was the Italian Don Rickles.
Exactly.
If you were,
we got the joke.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
Is how he was
sounds
perceived.
exactly the same. It's
I'm a huge fan. I was amazed by him, and I'm sure you guys remember this. He used to do this thing, and if you dismiss this guy as some doddering old man, senile, angry idiot, you are crazy. Everything he said he's almost like too smart for the room. Because he does it angry, you think, oh, he's this maniac, he's this raving lunatic. They would do this thing with him. I'm sure you guys remember it. They would throw topics, they would Rorschach names at him, and he would have a crazy spot-on opinion about anything you gave him in the news or proper names. Like he read like 10 newspapers a day, and he was unbelievable. There was nothing you could throw at him that he didn't have like a really strong, sprawling opinion on.
So you're saying there was a method to his mayhem?
No,
right?
You would get dismissed as this like senile, dementia-based lunatic because he was angry.
Yeah,
and
gotcha.
anger is the fuel for art, isn't it? Isn't that what we always say?
Yeah,
It was.
I know.
He
no,
monetized
I would never
bitterness.
Say that. He was like, I've always been great. I don't need you. And then you try to even apologize to him. Go, Pat, I love you. You don't love me. You. I was like, oh my God. You couldn't really. After a while, it got so contentious that you wouldn't even come in.
So you knew what you were getting having him in.
Yeah,
That's what you want.
Howard admits that he did try to apologize.
And then you try to.
He won't say for what.
Yeah, he won't say why. Like, why? What did you have to apologize
Right.
for?
Well, it's all in the clips
buddy?
I have here.
Now, we got a rare Fred appearance. Fred doesn't get on the mic often. And
Ever.
He
Thank
sounds like he's been dragged across the floor to do this. Like, they've tied him to a chair to make and put a mic.
I mean, you would have thought that he would have had a heart attack from all that shit that he did. They should do an autopsy on him. Whatever he did in his life, that's how you should live. Because if you can be that crazy and not drop dead from all that yelling, it means you have a pretty good, coronary system.
Thanks, Fred.
Good stuff, Fred.
Thanks, because nobody
7
could have
figures,
noticed
everyone.
that.
7
pretty
figures.
good. Yeah, you're right,
Nobody
Dennis.
noticed that. Thanks, Fred.
A pretty good coronary system. That's his, what is this? What is this?
All right. For anybody else out that thinks Fred is actually intelligent, please. He just said coronary system. He just literally said coronary system.
In addition, if there's one combination that has worse chemistry than Ronnie and Howard, it's Fred and Howard.
Fred and Howard.
Yeah.
Yes.
How many years they've been working together and they still act like they just met?
Just 40. Not too long. Not too long. It's 40 years.
This entire show could have taken place in like the late 80s. He doesn't talk about anything. I mean, I'm surprised he mentions like internet these days. It's just everything. He's just stuck. He's stuck in the moment, man.
Well, the true tell is, I say this all the time, and I'll continue to say it. If there was another 9/11 during the show, you wouldn't know about it until Dance Papers announced it 3 weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
He would never tackle it.
Tomorrow, Howard will tell us who invented ring-a-ding-ding.
Yeah.
There you go.
And the one thing also, Dennis, with listening live, that just the pauses was
they're
like
painful.
I can fast forward through them, but I've got like the last time I was on, we had a look at a pause and we looked at it in an audio editor, and I got one from today that I'd like to show you. This was a nice big one, so here it comes.
The CNN. You're on a great roll. You got a great life.
Nice graphic.
Wow. Did I ever tell you the story when I was...
Wow, that is so slick. What a professional.
That is amazing.
He's just... It's
and you got to let it go. If he says like, well, or he likes to do this now, he goes, when he does that, you got to let it go.
You know what it was? He was looking at the next subject on his screen. And that's what the pause is, because he's reading ahead.
If you ever get like a good look at whatever, he's got 70 monitors in front of him.
He's like, oh yeah, I got to do that now.
Yeah, you're right. I like that. Yeah, because it's you could either think that it's a huge ego who thinks that what he's saying is so important that he has to leave this empty, and Robin just sits there. And this was all through this episode when he was doing in the first hour when he was doing the mother impersonations. After each one, there was this 3-second pause. I mean, the one we watched when I was on last time, that was 6 seconds. These were about 3. 3 seconds feels like
long time
a
already.
lot longer. With Howard, a lot, and when he does that pause and then goes, and then you get 6 seconds into little sections. I love it. I love it. I'm always looking for them now.
A pregnant pause is like 2 beats: 1,000, 2 1,000. Go.
That's a pregnant pause.
And if you're going into editing, if you're doing a cadence, you do the 3 1,000, 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, edit. 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, edit. If you watch a commercial, that's the cadence of most editing. He is like literally like someone just has a stroke.
Think about how coddled and overproduced he is, and this show is. Think about like what a guy like Chris Russo does, whose show is just as long as him. He's sitting in a room by himself, taking phone calls and improvising on everything he does, with nothing but one producer putting the person on. Could you imagine Howard doing that for 1 hour by himself, just putting him on and riffing with that caller? He has to have 70 people do this shit. And as bad as this show is, there's 70 people working on it. Think about that.
Wait,
that's amazing.
This is even more bizarre. He actually has a co-host. He has a co-host.
Yeah, Russo doesn't have a co-host. Exactly right. There's nothing but him.
He has a co-host, and there's no excuse for complete dead silence.
Well, we said this.
Never.
I've meant to say this last time. That spot is Artie. Every time you hear the 6-second delay, the 3-second pause, that's where the comedian's supposed to go. In 2010 when he left the show, I immediately picked up on that. Those little the crazy 3-second, 6-second pauses. That's where Artie went.
But it just shows how blobbing is completely useless, because if you're a co-host at a show, when there's that emptiness, you add to the conversation.
But why does Fred get a pass? Why can't Fred play?
Fred?
Well, play a sound effect. What is he there for if he can't fill it with a stupid? Let's look at how brilliant Bon Jovial is, right? He probably has 50 new sound effects from this show alone, making him as it goes. The mind never stops. He's always coddling.
Thank you, Bon.
There you go, right there. Fred's still playing George Takei drops from 2006, and it's all he's got. He hasn't updated his reference drawer.
No.
I don't know what's the last sound effect he's concocted on whatever the hell he
I
even
can't
uses.
remember. No. The door knock.
Ben, Treat Williams is dead. I can't go on for the rest of the
I think Howard's playing the door knock.
He's like some handsome actor. He looks like
He was in Hair.
Very handsome.
Deep Rising.
I just looked it up. He's died in a motorcycle crash after a car cut him off.
Hey, that's how you're going to die on a motorcycle. So
unless you're Ghost Rider or Steve Rogers,
I mean, that's
tough shit.
You know what you gotta love about the internet? If you look him up, there he died June 12th, 2023.
Damn, that's quick.
He's
there's
they get onto it so quick.
Edit.
Isn't it amazing? It really is. It's crazy.
The rules in the 90s was if you can't get Tom Berenger, you better get Treat Williams.
Yeah, basically he was in Hair and he parlayed that into 80s like that other guy in the movie. He was.
Wow.
All right, so let's continue.
So rest in peace. Rest in power, my friend.
Yeah, rest assured, the entire Stern Show will be dedicated to Treat Williams tomorrow. I know it will.
He doesn't know it.
I know.
Well, you know he was in Hair, but everybody knows who's got the good hair.
He had a huge cock.
So now we've got the big stuff that was actually Howard's something he's never told us before. And
I'm going to tell you something now I've never even told you. I've never told you this. I was offered my own television network. Now think about that for a second. I'm going to tell you this now.
Just
I've talked about it. I don't think I have. I'm talking about Howard Stern Television Network. That would have been mine.
We all know how Howard
TV comedy,
ended,
talk shows, a network.
They broke into the NBA.
Kidding? Is he kidding right now?
Like,
he's not kidding. He's not kidding.
Come on.
There's no punchline coming. He's not kidding.
For F's sake.
Well, we can't bring up Howard TV. Why? Because you have to bring up the people on it.
There's no
This
ambiguity.
This is something. I mean, this is a first, really. I mean, Shuley has a Shuley network. Shuley has something that Howard doesn't have.
Come on.
He got through that whole. Xavier's right. He got through that whole thing without bringing up Howard TV, and why? Because he has to bring up the people on Howard TV who work.
And then
he
fired them on the air.
Right? He fired them on the air.
Does he think that we just tuned in today? Come on.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Come
he thinks we're that
on.
stupid.
Come on.
He continues though. He's
more?
not done. Yeah.
It would have netted me billions of dollars, I'm sure, if it was successful. And I thought about it, and I said, no.
Go, Xavier.
When there was a point in time, like soon after they went on air on satellite, where Delabate was driving around a minivan that had a prototype of a video component of Sirius XM that they were going to expand it to, and Howard was going to lead the charge. Where did that go? Where did Whalecock? Where did Howard 360? Where all these flim flam ideas that went nowhere? Where are they now?
They offered him a network, and he couldn't even get anything better than being on E. I mean, let's really, and then some cable systems with Howard TV, and then of course the failed stuff with Whalecock for Sirius XM, and now Sirius XM's video component is such a disgrace. They have to put the stuff on YouTube so somebody sees it. I mean, this guy, is he delusional or just trying to make up a lie?
Bro, he
sound
loves
important?
to blow smoke up his own derriere, man. That's all it is.
God.
What was the story last week that Xavier said he's been sitting on this story for 45 years to bring it up now? In June of 2023, he's just getting to this. Of all the lies he's told, he's just getting to this now.
The parents getting
robbed. You can see that notepad.
The parents, actually, Dennis, right? Parents getting robbed.
You can see the notepad of that. Okay, this year, I have dad dying. I have the cum hat, and then I'll get to the story about my network. Yeah.
Oh yeah, on the
That's
chalkboard.
Network. Yeah, I was gonna have a network.
Yeah.
Is that network in between when they're offering him all the game shows and the movie roles?
I think he's confusing that with Stern Fan Network.
Yes.
I like that. Thanks, David, the violinist. Very generous man.
He's the best.
It's very nice. So he goes on about this. We'll finish this clip quickly.
It would have netted me billions of dollars, I'm sure, if it was successful.
And billions and
And
billions
I thought about it,
and
and I
billions.
said,
Yes, he's gonna
No.
leave that on the table. Absolutely. That's
why did I
believable.
say no?
Why?
You would say, Howard, you're crazy. Because I know my lane. I know what's going to be. Movie, I knew would be good if I did it right. Radio show, I understood radio. The fuck do I know about running a television network?
Huh?
I said no.
Okay.
People couldn't believe it.
Okay.
There you go.
What?
That's the
Wait
end
a
of
minute.
that. Yeah.
So wait a minute. So you left billions of dollars on the table because you don't have the mental capacity to run a TV network. I don't know. I'm going to ask all four of us here. If somebody offered you a TV network and you just had to come up with a basic framework and hire people,
Yes.
and you can,
yes.
It's like,
bro, if someone's willing to drop me like $50 on PayPal, you can have RadioGunk. Come on.
Exactly.
And billions and billions and billions and billions and
What a
billions and
doofus.
billions and billions and
he thought he could make billions out of it though. Wow.
Well, think about Robin just sitting there, and he ends it by going, "What do I know about running a TV network?" And Robin goes, "Oh, what about Howard TV? Does that count as a network?" She has to go along with the script and just not push
Absolutely.
back. How do you listen to that? Sometimes I think Robin is worth what she gets to just sit there and listen to that stuff and have to go along with.
Absolutely.
She's shopping
her
for
job
food
is like
and,
a dude that
and on
wiped Bubba's
Amazon.
ass with a towel.
And this isn't the end of it. He's got a few other revelations, and this one's just.
Okay, I'm going to give you another story. When Hugh Hefner was selling Playboy, I was offered. In other words, the money guys would have put up the money. I would have been the head of the Playboy empire. They want.
John, I'm going to send you these clips for the archives.
Yeah,
this is classic.
That's great
Howard
for
right
like
now.
the TikTok thing we want to do.
This is just vigorous. I mean,
they wanted me to move into the mansion and become the new Hugh Hefner. I was offered that.
What?
I said no. I mean,
he said
why?
no.
I could give you a million reasons why I wasn't comfortable with that.
Was this when Hefner was still alive? Is that what he's?
Yeah, that's what he's saying. That's what he's saying.
How would that
Because
work?
Hefner, he was parking those blondes up until his death.
Until he died. He
Yeah,
wasn't leaving
Xavier.
that place.
Xavier, what is he
What form of
saying?
reality
He's-
fits
yeah.
Howard into that narrative?
What's he saying?
There's one
I don't
caveat
even
to that
get it.
story. You had to be a heterosexual in order to move in.
Yeah,
That's
there
why
you
he didn't
go.
do it.
Because
Is he saying that Hugh Hefner wanted him to supersede him?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what he
Succeed,
said. That's what he's
succeed
saying.
him.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But
Oh, Mr. D, that's
I know my
great.
lane.
He says, "Oh, sorry."
The Vatican
Jenny.
wanted him to be the first Jewish pope.
Absolutely, that's more believable.
That's the
And here's the thing.
quote
Here's
of the
the thing.
day. I think
There
that's
is
a good one.
nothing that stopped him from just doing. Why do you have to wait for him? Just do your own thing.
Right.
And he's-
No.
He repeats the line as well.
I know my lane.
So that means he knew he couldn't do it.
Lane.
Or
Bring on the
whatever.
kosher girls.
What is he? What's wrong with this?
No
This
lie is
brilliant,
too
though.
small, Bon.
Once
And no
again,
lie is too big or small.
There's nobody to hip check him.
That's
all it
what I
is.
was just going to say. So all the stuff that
Nobody there to
the
hip
time he
check him.
spends on his parents, lying about
The
his
old
parents,
days he
desecrating their
was getting
names. There's no one to push back. You know, Ellen's not
And
going to
there-
do it. He has no brothers.
and
He has
there-
no other siblings to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah. But
There
this
was
is
the
classic
brilliance
Howard.
of
like-
Stuttering John. I know everybody likes to hate him,
Yeah.
but he hip checked Stern till he left.
Absolutely did, yeah.
This is classic Howard, though. I'm riveted when he starts this. I'm not tuning out. I'm like, give me more. Say more, man.
He is
like,
a grandfather on The Simpsons at this point, bro.
this is, and he's not done.
I was offered my own talk show
Exactly.
on CNN years ago.
Yeah.
And I turned that down too. Did I do enough talking?
What?
Do over there. I don't know. I didn't have confidence in it.
All the stuff they goof on Trump for lying and bragging. There's nothing. This is way worse. This is on a whole other level.
He doesn't know when to give up. That's three things. He couldn't
offered
stop.
him. Wait. So a talk show. So literally the easiest show in the world to do. Literally, you get a script, you get stuff to ask, and you just do it.
Yeah.
And
you
not do that.
You cannot, as a talk show host, you can get away with that without even having to ad lib. Like it's all on a screen.
3 days a
it's
week.
It's pretty great. Yeah.
Kelsey Walsh, I absolutely believe that Ellen has a gag order on her on the 112 plan.
Oh,
without
absolutely.
question. So you can do shit like this.
She's collecting retirement now.
I know. It never made sense. Like she just had no reason to be on. She's never contributed a thing to anything ever anywhere, other than she probably has a nice gag order on her that she's not allowed to spill what she knows. That he could spill crazy lies desecrating his parents. He doesn't have any brothers or other sisters that'll push back and go, "What are you doing to mom and dad? None of this happened. You're really embarrassing. You gotta stop."
Actual job.
I've never heard of her being employed.
Honestly, the only gig that anybody has ever brought up, and you know how our people like to dig up crap, is she was a photographer for a North Shore Animal League for a while.
Yep.
And like you would see like the adopted pets, or the pets to be adopted, and it would say credit. It would be her name at the bottom.
She took happy snaps of them pretty much.
Yeah.
You know? It's
But
not
the thing
real
is,
photography.
It's not.
When you pulled up the 112, retirement documents, there she is.
Yeah.
She gets there she's fully vested, and it's an old school retirement. It's not like a 401k. This is old school defined benefits.
All these hanger-ons that he has. Remember when he on the E show where he replaced was it Grillo? Who's the camera guy that would walk the people into? Was it Grillo? When he replaced him with like a 9-year-old kid?
Ganji?
Was Ganji? Well, whoever
I think Ganji was doing post-E interviews.
Like a 10-year-old kid, pointing out how
anyone can do this, right?
And he just goofed on him. Meanwhile, his kids, pretty much gravy trainers. His sister, gravy trainer. What's his face? Ralph, gravy trainer. His wife is a gravy trainer. They all just live off of him.
Right.
As far as I know, Ellen's she was organizing the card catalog at the North Belmore Library during her
time. There you go.
When she was displaced.
She had plenty of time there, so.
You remember that? Was it me that found that on Facebook? She had a conversation with her friends, and she's going, "I'm displaced right now. I'm at the North Belmore Library. My brother isn't taking me in just yet." I can't remember what I did with that screenshot.
Oh, that's gold too.
I have to stay at the North Belmore Library for 3 days. I'm asking my brother if I can stay with him.
Couldn't stay in a 15,000 square foot.
How many rooms, Dennis? How many?
Christ! What is this? What 15 bedrooms?
Yes.
I think there's like 15 bedrooms in that place. It's just ridiculous.
We've got a little bit left to this clip. I think
let's
there's
wrap
even
this
more.
up.
Yeah.
When Rolling Stone would come to interview me, they'd go, "We want to spend like 2 or 3 days embedded with you." I go, "That isn't fucking happening."
I can't stand that vocal fry he has.
2 or
low
3
talking.
days, I'll fuck up. When you're being interviewed, it's showbiz. You're kind of putting it like I would orchestrate everything. I would be like, I'm going to pick up the Rolling Stone reporter at the train station. I'll put on like an AM black station that's like talking radical stuff. What? And then when the reporter gets in the car, it'll be really cool because we'll write, "Yeah, Howard Stern listens to black radio." And
what is this low talking?
You know what I mean? Like, I would like calculate everything.
What a shitty energy! You fall asleep right at the wheel listening to this driving. Could you imagine driving listening to this with thinking it's gonna like galvanize you for the rest of the day?
The thing is, the whole point of this story was like it was like way back when, and he said he was driving his Valiant, and that's what this whole. First of all, his dad bought him a Polara, not a Valiant. He actually had a big boy car, not a Valiant, there's a huge difference between the two types of cars. And he's just conflating this whole story that, like, he's this suffering guy and he's just, he's going to do this.
He's always the underdog, right? He's always the victim. And no matter how much money he makes, he's a professional victim, no matter what deal with the devil.
The whole thing is this weird fantasy. It's just really crazy, actually.
That part was pretty nasty, too. That's him scheming to fabricate in front of a journalist by putting
Yeah, that's what he is so full of secrets and lies, and it's all mostly. I mean, I think it's mostly vanity, cosmetic surgery kind of secrets. So that's his biggest nightmare: is an actual journalist following him around in his domain, even for more than 2 hours in his actual. That's why when he did even the Seinfeld thing, the comedians in cars thing, he had to meet at Tony Coburn's brownstone. He wouldn't even let Seinfeld pick him up. Everybody knows where you live, fuckface. You live on West 67th in Columbus. Everybody knows you live right outside of Lincoln Square. Yeah. And he had, thinking we don't know, and he has them pick him up at Tony Coburn's fucking brownstone. He's got so much to hide, make no mistake.
You're not wrong there, and
that's his biggest fear, is someone following him around in his actual domain for more than an hour, no matter what one of his residents it is.
I agree, and with that,
Cleaning out the computer.
That's such a good production. I love that.
Yeah,
I do love that.
Well, thanks. Anna Nicole Smith, John.
I think we should say that for Monique. I think.
Okay, cool.
That's from the Netflix documentary. It's just that there was a little bit. They must have spent, I don't know, 2 minutes on Howard enabling her downward spiral to death, and I think we should wait for Monique for that.
So
I just got the audio for it. I kind of recorded it from Netflix.
That's all good. So we've got Dave Matthews bashing, and this is the one where he's suggesting that Dave Matthews is gay, or the music is gay.
Yeah, so this is his new Sirius buddy, Dave Matthews, who he's on just twice.
Yes.
And this is his real thoughts on Dave Matthews before Sirius signed him. This is all through the years. You know, Dave Matthews has been big from what would you say, late 90s to about modern day, and now
98.
And now we're just too cool for him.
Dave Matthews sounds real gay to me.
Right, and he spawned, like,
a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
I hate Dave Matthews.
Okay, that's him. Sorry, I clipped that ending off. Oh.
Why did that end like that?
Yeah, here we go.
I hate Dave Matthews.
Yeah, I edited these, but that's the first
all
clip.
the shit's got to go on our TikTok. We got to throw all the stuff, especially if it's
would go
you know
there. That's cool.
You know, the Springsteen stuff we started with, where I have a whole medley of him, like wishing death on Springsteen, and
you know the thing is, this year, we got to look back. How many guests actually aren't tied into Sirius? Because
every time, Carrie Underwood, Dennis, that was the worst one yet.
Everyone
out of nowhere.
This Wednesday we have Top Gay on again because we can't have enough of him.
Wasn't he? When was he last on? Wasn't he on just a few months ago?
In Miami, he was on.
Oh my God! And I've got to watch it. I've got to watch. I'm not fucking getting clips from it.
Don't worry. It's the interviews we never... Well, actually, he may have some backhanded stuff to say. He actually may be a little backhanded, so there may be something there.
Yeah, well, Bulldog, I'm not saying you're wrong. You don't have to love Dave Matthews, but who's gayer and who's more talented, Train or Dave Matthews?
Ooh,
trust me, Dave Matthews is an incredible guitarist.
Blows him away, Bond. Exactly, blows him away in every way, shape, and form.
The musicians he plays with are virtuoso.
Very respected in the musician community. Train's a cover band. Trey's a fucking poser cover band.
And a bad one at that.
Oh, Train.
Think about that.
They're a bad cover band. Yeah.
Dave Matthews can probably read music and write it out, and these guys in Train can't do anything like that. He's a virtuoso. He's actually a fantastic musician.
He's an insufferable sea monkey, and so I don't care what he can do. I can't.
I'm talking purely musicianship, Dennis, not Florida politics.
It's hard to get
And
past
he's written
that,
just excellent songs. Like Train have written, just the most bland. It's so commercial. It's Dave Matthews isn't like that. He writes shit. It's from the heart for sure. It's. So let's go to
you have his
the
CDs,
Central Park. Sorry, I do have a few of his albums.
CDs,
Yeah, I
have an investment in Dave.
Of course you do.
I'm not.
I like
fan,
Dave Matthews.
I'm not like a fan.
I'm the same way, Bon. I like him. Like I'm not a super, but I completely get why he's good.
I know one Dave Matthews song. And
sing it, Dennis.
Crash into me. That's it. That's, that's literally all I know.
There's a sound drop on. There's a new sound drop.
That's all I know. I know nothing about Dave Matthews.
And all John Mayer is an absolute knockoff of him, a fucking embryo, stole everything from. No question about it.
And KC came to his defense, didn't he?
Yes, thank you for yes. We got anytime I can crowbar KC onto the show in a positive way, I'll do it.
You are so dead wrong about Dave Matthews.
Really?
There were times.
Well, you're gay.
No. There were times where he sings like he's doing metal. You know what I'm saying? I gotta play some stuff here. He's awesome, man. I don't understand why you hate him so much.
Dave Matthews, who listens to that crap?
So here's another one. Howard's talk. The caller is requested a Dave Matthews song, and this is his response.
Yeah.
And Howard just a miserable prick.
Dave Matthews, baby. Who listens to that crap?
Have a request.
My older daughter went to a Dave Matthews concert. I was like, who goes to that? He said, that ain't right. She goes, I just went to hang out. I don't even know the music. He's no good. He's up to no good. He should be playing in the East Village in a coffee house.
Wow.
Bathhouse. Playing around a campfire.
And you should be in a bathhouse.
Exactly.
They're so vile when they both get together like that. Like her going, meh, meh. Oh,
a lot of people don't realize, Casey is responsible for Jimmy Kimmel and Howard's relationship.
I believe it.
Casey constantly pushed to have Kimmel on the show because he loved the Man Show, and Howard kept turning him down. And every week, Casey would repitch him again, and finally he capitulated to it. And Kimmel got in the stead of Howard and got to kiss ass on his hero.
You know what? And I've said it with Casey in the room, so to speak. Casey was responsible for introducing the word "Dirty Sanchez" to America.
Joe Rogan too. Remember that Joe Rogan clip they
it was Casey that brought that element into the Stern Show.
Yeah. That kind of frat boy
I think they're called sexual proverbs.
Western Kentucky humor.
Yeah, the angry dragon, the dirty Sanchez,
That's
chili
right.
dog, all that stuff.
The Western Kentucky locker room.
Shart, who did more for Shart than Casey?
Don't know. He is
absolutely. He's
the Eli Whitney of Shart.
He kind of is. He's kind of like the Leonardo of.
He's
of
the
naughtiness,
Michelangelo.
Man. He created so much for us to giggle about than more people give him credit for.
He's the Louis Farrakhan of Shart.
And this
the George Washington Carver of
Benjamin Franklin.
He invented a lot of cool shit that we laughed at.
Blumpkin.
Right?
Yeah, the Blumpkin.
Introduced, what's his face?
Beetlejuice is from Casey too. He found them at a midget tossing contest.
Absolutely.
All the stuff that all the Casey is gay stuff that Christie used to send into.
Richard Christie wouldn't have been on the show. That's right. Richard Christie used Casey as
the world to that.
Casey was Richard Christie's vessel to get on the show. Exactly right. What's next, Bon?
I have no bukkake sauce. That's what they say. It's all natural.
What? What is that?
It's a bad cranky call.
Tradio style.
Okay, I thought it was Sharon Osbourne.
Central Park concert. It's going to wake Howard up, isn't it?
Yeah,
right,
so
John?
they had a concert right next to the Millennium Towers where Howard lives. And it was playing like during the week, and he's hearing it, and he's livid. And how dare you have a free concert? No one should ever do anything for free for their fans.
Thank God he's wimpy. I didn't hear him that much.
I've always wanted to see a concert on the Great Lawn, but I can't stand that guy. So I couldn't even bring myself to check it out just for the experience.
I'm not a big Dave Matthews guy. 90% of the audience was just,
There because of the event.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
They start hearing jam, and they'll jam their ass right out of there. It'll be empty in about 10 minutes.
Stampede.
Yeah. Yesterday, New York City was a bit of a mess because of this free concert. When I hear free concert, I want to just hang myself because really against free concerts.
Oh, come on. You can't be against free concert.
I'd be for it if it was someone good. But
That don't live in New York. That don't live in Midtown Manhattan.
Yeah.
Entirely.
I mean, it almost seems ridiculous.
It seems like,
When I'm a misanthrope and I want peace and quiet, I don't live in Midtown Manhattan, right in the middle of Lincoln Square.
When was the last time Howard paid for anything worth entertainment?
That's
Concerts, basketball game, all comp.
That's true.
Free, all
he
free.
should be the last one to talk about free stuff.
That's a great question. When is the last time you actually paid money for a ticket to anything? That's a great question.
In a minute.
And Dave Matthews also ruined Woodstock for Howard. So
thank you,
good
Pablo.
guy.
Yes, Casey does have a lot of stories about Howard in private. We chain text with him. It's not that he's afraid to say him on here. I mean, he gives us total green light to do it. We just kind of forget to do it. Maybe one day we'll just read all his texts, and he's got a ton of stories.
That would be a fantastic.
You have to just ask him. He'll tell you anything he wants. I've never heard him say no, ever.
Yeah. He's a straight shooter.
Yes, he is.
We think about it more than he does. What's so stupid it is.
All right, we got Dave Matthews. We've got a lot of Dave Matthews. He ruins Woodstock for Howard, and Howard's not
Every
happy.
time I tuned in, they were either showing a rerun of Dave Matthews or Dave Matthews Live. I don't dig him, man. He's a bummer. He's the most uncool guy out there. Yeah, I mean, it's just not fun to watch him. It's painfully boring.
I was wondering what the big deal was. They said he was the
Listen to
biggest
Fred.
thing there.
And I had, I ordered it on satellite. I don't want to pay more than $59 for that. Because all I got was a Dave Matthews Elvis Costello concert.
Oh.
Elvis Costello's horrible now. He's become Burt Bacharach.
Okay. He had him on too.
I tuned in yesterday, and there was this long jewel set.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, they fat shamed Jewel here.
For me, that was the highlight.
Oh,
because
wow.
I saw Dave
Yeah.
Matthews.
Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
Robin fat shamed
Wasn't
Jewel.
bad. She got heavy.
Forever.
Yeah, she got heavy, right?
God.
Wow.
Robin fat shaming Jewel. We gotta send that to Jewel on Twitter. If anybody wants to send this stuff to people on Twitter, you think they're gonna look at it? Please do. I mean, whether it's Jewel or Dave Matthews, just get him in trouble. It's this two-faced motherfucker. Welter Skelter, you can DM me on Twitter, Arm34, or if you're in Gunk, you can PM me there. Whatever you want to send me, I appreciate it.
He won't
no matter
reply,
what.
though. He doesn't reply sometimes.
Welter Skelter. You know how aloof Welter Skelter gets, right? Or you talking about me?
You.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But
I wonder
you do-
what
you-
Howard's
I
going
know
to
how
say
it is.
about Natalie Maine, who's become Natalie Texas.
Well, he has something to say about Dave Matthews ruining Neil Young for Howard.
Yeah. How dare
This
you
is-
play with Neil Young?
Neil
right?
Young can ruin Neil Young for anyone.
I would wager to say that Dave Matthews has had a better career than Neil Young has.
Most people have. Because
I'm
Neil
just
Young,
saying in terms of longevity and volume and everything else.
Well,
Yeah.
Neil Young is way
hateable.
overrated and overpraised.
And he's
Yeah, but how
hateable.
many pork Daryl Hannah?
That's true.
Oh, that's all right. I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah.
Dave Matthews pork Daryl Hammond. I'll take that.
All right, let's see what he has
Let's
to
wrap
say
this
about
up,
this.
guys. Come on.
Yeah, I'm
come on,
trying.
come
I'm
on.
trying.
I gotta get up sometime.
I'm excited about that, but then Dave Matthews was there, and he's horrible. I mean, he just ruined the Neil Young song. He didn't need to be there. And Dave Matthews forced him to do one of the shitty songs. It's horrible. I had to fast forward through Neil Young. That's how bad it got.
And we got one more. This is great. Gary can't book Dave Matthews.
Yeah. So let me
is
just
good.
set this up. And the Pat Cooper stuff, let's just move it to tomorrow because it's too good to rush through. I don't want to sit there with
Yeah, gotcha. I'll save it for tomorrow. Beautiful.
This is so Dave Matthews repeatedly is pitched by, I believe, Steve Brandano to come on the show. Howard's guests really consist of Brooke Hogan and the Bloodhound Gang. And you remember the guests early days of Sirius, how bad that was. Mm-hmm. So he's getting pitched like George Carlin and just no. He's got no taste in anything. And Gary gets put in a corner here after a really shitty month of guests. Why don't you have Dave Matthews on? What's stopping you? And this is so Dave Matthews, I guess, heard the show of Howard bashing him, and this is really what his kind of thoughts on Howard was before Dave Matthews got a channel on Sirius.
Gary, have you ever dabbled with interviewing Dave Matthews? And he's a really interesting, kind of interesting guy, and with the death of his sax player this year, he's a kind of a funny dude, and I just think him and Howard would just hit it off.
He's a good musician. I don't think he's a very interesting guest. And I met him at K-Rock once. And I took a picture with him, and I mentioned it to him, and he just said, yeah, that's not for me. Not that he didn't like us, but I think it was more that we weren't fans of his music, so it was like, why am I going to come on there? But, I mean, he's not a great interview. He does have an interesting story right now. You're right.
Wow.
Could you imagine him talking to Dave Matthews like that never existed. Like just
He did.
Just what two-faced
it goes
motherfuckers these
both
guys
ways.
are.
It goes both ways. I mean, that
Soulless.
means that Dave is just taking a paycheck himself.
Yeah, exactly. They're both complete phonies. That's why.
Yeah.
I think
phonies.
I think Howard needs Dave Matthews more than Dave Matthews needs Howard at this point.
Well, yes. I mean, Dave Matthews has a much bigger grasp, but
far bigger audience.
Well, what is Dave Matthews' channel really doing for Sirius and subscriptions? Really, what's it bringing in? Because I can go on to YouTube Music and I can listen if I really wanted to.
Any music channel. Dennis, why do you need any music
song
channel?
In any format that I wanted? It could be live, it could be studio. Hell, I could have him covering stuff. Why do I need a Dave Matthews
Why do you need
channel?
any music channel, Dennis?
Exactly.
You don't. I mean,
No.
Dennis is right. And the best thing about like YouTube Music and these other street services is after a while the algorithm just knows what you like.
Knows what I
and
like.
You can literally just click on a thing and you can listen to all the tunes that you enjoyed from a kid to like now.
Don't try to make sense out of Sirius.
No commercials,
Don't try to make...
no anything. Just song after song.
Who's popping the packing things?
I was just moving. Yeah, sorry.
Jesus,
Stop trying to make logic out of Sirius
Dennis,
and then hemorrhaging money at nothing.
Did you hear a gunk?
I heard a gunk. It was definitely a gunk. Can I have Mrs. Roberts in here, please?
Listen, Dennis, I take direction from you under protest. or the Shatner.
But the thing is, Sirius is nothing but a grift. I mean, it really is. It's a Ponzi scheme.
It's just an outdated business model.
But
honestly.
it's a Ponzi scheme.
It's
Without
all it
selling
is.
cars, they don't have new subscribers.
They want names. They starfuck.
bro.
They have none of this. Is that don't try to make sense out of them signing people. They hemorrhage money, and I don't know where they get it, and I don't know how they make it.
It is
loans.
It is.
Yeah.
You just bought a Land Rover, and they say, "Hey, it comes with 6 months free of satellite radio. You should." And people are like, "Okay, we'll just cancel when the time comes," and they forget.
And then Howard takes credit for
That
the
is literally their
subscription.
business model.
Yes, it is. And
And
that'll be going away
and now
soon.
with Google Car and Apple Car, it's like that is completely obsolete at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like
ridiculous.
downloading stuff on Napster today.
Ask Ralph about that.
Yeah.
Last clip of Dave Matthews.
Yay!
This is interesting. This is Steve Brandano.
Oh, right. So it's Steve Brandano pretends to be retarded so he can sneak into a Dave Matthews backstage VIP concert.
This is fantastic.
That's not a stretch either.
No. It's,
Yeah.
They tried to reenact the Revelation thing. Remember when they first went to Sirius? It did like the
Revelations.
Yeah, so it spilled over to Sirius from and so they tried to go to the well again, and it was not quite as it. But this is one of the revelations from it.
This is great.
When I was in high school, I saw a group of retarded kids being taken backstage at a concert. I hopped into the line and pretended to be retarded to get past the security guard. They marched the group into an elevator and took them up an exit. I stayed in the elevator. When they got off, I went back down to the backstage area.
See the Richards sound.
It's one of my favorite bands.
Now it's his favorite band.
Well, it's Richard Christie, Steve Brandano, or John Hine.
Richard.
The answer is it's Steve Brandano.
Oh.
He's a big fan of Dave Matthews.
Right.
He went to go see Dave Matthews. He saw the retarded kids.
You know, that's a really good revelation, except nobody cares about Steve Brand.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. I don't know what I care about on this show. I don't care less about Steve than anybody else on the show. I don't know what I care about anymore.
I do care about Brandano because,
Marcy sure does, right?
Yeah, Marcy cares.
Quick question for Roboto. Back, I used to rent cars all the time. I haven't since like the shutdown. But one thing I always noticed is you would get out in the car, and there was always that sat button. You would listen to it, but Howard was not part of the whatever car you were in.
Yeah, because he wants more money.
Once in a blue moon, there would be a car that would have Howard, 100 and whatever, but most of them didn't.
Because he wants more money.
The car, I wonder if that's still a thing.
Guaranteed, he had some separate deal where he wants more money.
Xavier, it's even more so because there is two separate tiers, and it's huge. There's a huge price difference between the two. So definitely, if a rental car has it, it will definitely not have Howard in it because it's just they're not going to pay the extra money. No way.
Ironically, he's number one on the survey of canceling Sirius. He's the reason everybody cancels and then wants more money.
Well, I remember I had to fly to Kansas City and then drive to North Carolina over the span of over a week. So I brought, back then you could just have that little doohickey that you just plug into a cigarette lighter, and you would put the magnetic antenna on the roof.
Yeah.
And so I remember when we drove cross country, we listened to all the Tradio stuff and Howard stuff. And I imagine at this point, the only people that really need Sirius XM is people who drive cross country. But I imagine even that with the 5G networks is going away too.
Yeah. Hey, Bulldog, that's a great reference. But did you guys know that Steve Brandano was Deborah Stern's F buddy for a while?
No,
that's a great reference, Bulldog. I can't believe you don't know that. I'll find there's a little slip up on the air once. I think it was in 2011. They brought Steve in.
So wait,
and it was briefly kind of thrown in, but that's absolutely true.
So question. Wait, which one, Marcy or Deborah?
Deborah and Marcy.
No,
both.
no. But which one between?
Oh, they had a threesome.
Which would you pick?
Out of the
out of the three?
I guess Deborah.
The choice.
I'll take the social worker. I'll take the social worker over the cult leader.
I don't know the fidget spinner though. I mean, there's something about a redhead
I'm taking
that's
Deborah.
crazy.
I don't know, man. I got a feeling that down there's a hairy situation.
What, on Deborah or on a fidget spinner?
Yes, that's a yes.
On both?
I'll take the fake social worker.
Excuse me.
What the hell
Didn't
was
really,
that?
On that note,
it didn't really mesh into well. I'm a bit rusty. We are going now.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys.
Yeah, give us everything.
Comments,
Thanks for listening.
Try to find it tomorrow.
Buonanotte.
Great work, John, on those clips, though. I love.
Yeah,
your work.
Pat Cooper tomorrow. That was a teaser. That was a Pat Cooper cock tease because there's been really good Pat Cooper stuff from the Opie and Anthony show and Chauncey and really the last time he's ever been on camera, I think.
And Howard has no guest tomorrow, so it's going to be probably more Ronnie. So we'll be back. And
victory laps. More
I hope you
Come
guys
on,
enjoyed
someone wants to know
us.
if you're a Silverchair fan.
Yeah, I've been through.
Of course he is.
Yeah, listen to some old
Thank you,
podcasts. I've confirmed that most people are here.
Okay, there you go.
It's good shit. But we'll be back tomorrow, and I hope you guys all enjoyed the non-Monique show. I hope we lived up to your expectations.
No, Mo.
Yeah, she's having dinner with Ben Stein right now, Affy. You're Christopher Columbus.
She's waking up.
Good night,
Anyway,
everyone.
thanks for joining us, everybody.
Hey guys, thanks for hanging with us tonight. Please join us for any further discussion at RadioGunk.com in the forum section. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at RadioGunk. And don't forget to like this and subscribe to us and hit that little bell so you know when we're doing a new show. Thanks.